Kyoto has a problem. It's gorgeous. Too gorgeous. And so, consequently, the city has many tourists. Maybe too many tourists. This is a bit of a tricky topic because while everyone should have the right to visit a beautiful city and see it and experience it, Kyoto is a prime example of what can happen when a city experiences over-tourism. However, Kyoto is actually a bit odd, I find, because it sort of doesn't have to be this way. The city is rather big, and there is so much that is worth seeing that the overcrowding appears to stem from the concentration of visitors in the hotspots, not simply the total amount of people. Back in March, I happened to be in Kyoto for a weekend to visit a friend, and I decided to make the effort on that weekend to explore the quiet side of Kyoto, and I think it was lovely. Of course, I had my film camera with me to document everything photographically. I ended up walking up into the hills, wandering through gardens, and taking a small train into the mountains. In this video, I would like to invite you to join me. Let's go. So this trip to Kyoto actually is the beginning of a longer journey across the southwest of Japan, which I'll be showing you in another video soon. On the way west, I was going to pass Kyoto anyway, and I wanted to meet a friend that lives there. So on day 1, I was going to hang out with her, and on day 2, I was going to explore some more places on my own. This is Hika-chan, who you might remember from some older videos of mine. She used to live in Osaka and moved to Kyoto a couple years ago. I told her about my intention to visit some quieter places in Kyoto, and she seems to have a couple places in mind that she could take me to. But first we went to her place so I could leave my luggage there, and also I was actually excited to shoot there and take her portrait, because I love shooting in people's living spaces. Someone's home is often their escape, the place they retreat to, a place they feel safe in. There's something quite intimate about that, and so it's not just special for me to get to visit the space, but also to document it and capture its character, which is like an extension of the character of the person living there. I think this is a lovely first shot of my time in Kyoto. I love the colours. The walls have a light green tint, and Hika is wearing a green sweater. In the background though, there are some orange and wood tones that add a pleasing but controlled diversity in colours. This is kind of just luck, I guess. All I had to do was find the right angle. The lighting was a bit tricky because it was really dark and I only had Kodak Gold 200 loaded in my camera, but I made it work.
普通はまあどんな座り方する？この普通だったら。普通はそうこうよね。ちょっと暗いかもけど大丈夫と思う。
じゃあ座ってもらって。はい
Hika also likes photography and enjoys shooting film, so she took the opportunity to swap roles with me and have me sit in the chair.
椅子もこうする？
そうそう。あ、いいね、いいね。はい、チーズ。あ、いいかも。
よかった。あと何かする？
これがジミーが作った椅子です。まだちょっと完成してないんですけど。
This wooden stool is a handmade piece that Hika's boyfriend made. She told me that he'd probably love it if I get a nice photograph of it, which I of course tried, though at first I struggled a bit because I'm not used to shooting a stool. I had Hika lay her hand on it to add a little something, and I think with the backlight from the window this ended up pretty cool actually. I like this shot a lot. Again, the color palette in Hika's room is just so beautiful. I happened to spot this photograph when Hika was looking at something, and I noticed that her hair from this angle created a distinct shape that stood out in the composition. Then, before heading out, Hika mentioned that this building actually has a shared rooftop that we could check out.
暑そうな、ここは夏は。色がちょうどマッチング。これも写真撮っておこう。
Silk lining, delicate paper, tangerine rind. Two petals on the dress you wore come to mind.
一応本屋。
で、こういうヨーロッパ。
古事記もある。隠れ庭。
On our way to find some lunch, we passed by a bookstore that looked interesting. While looking around, I got a shot or two, and further back, I met the people who run the shop, and the scene was just beautiful. So I politely asked whether I may take a photograph of them in the space. That's the story behind this photograph. This lady agreed to me taking a photo of her, and I love it. The space feels very Japanese, full of stuff, and the colours just happen to work so well again. The fact that she's wearing a red sweater makes her stand out so clearly in the composition, and it matches the other red and orange spots in the frame that contrast the overall green tint in the room. What a photographic start to this weekend. By the way, in case you have a little collection of shots that you like, you should make a portfolio, for which I recommend this channel's partner, Squarespace. If you need a portfolio website, an online shop, a freelancer's booking page, or anything, basically, Squarespace is the place to make it. I personally have been using Squarespace for over 5 years at this point, and I highly recommend it if you need a website. They have a bunch of professionally designed templates to start off from, and with their intuitive drag and drop editor, it is easy to customize the design to your liking. Or you can even use their AI tool, which will build you a website based on your description. And they are really all in one. You can register your own domain name with them, and they offer analytics to track the activity on your page. Personally, I think what they do really well, or what I appreciate, is that they give me creative freedom in combination with ease of use. Try it out for yourself. You can head to squarespace.com for a 14-day free trial, and then when you're ready to launch a website, you can go to squarespace.com/Crawford to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
はい、お腹いっぱいです。
これから山登り行きましょうか。
行きましょう。
山って何の山だっけ？
大文字山。
大文字。These are some quick snapshots I took while walking. I was trying to capture anything that caught my eye here while we walked to a place that Hika wanted to take me to. This is a wee hiking trail that Hiko likes. Kyoto is surrounded by mountains, and they usually have a couple trails so that you can climb up them and get a nice view of the city. This here is not the top of the mountain, just a neat spot to hang out. We were enjoying the view, and I tried to make use of the self-timer on my point and shoot to get a photograph.
どうかな？撮れたかな？なんか結構こっち向いてて大丈夫と思う。多分。今日のカメラは何ですか？
今日のカメラはペンタックスエスピオ120です。ちょっと壊れてるんだけどね。
何が壊れてる？
While hanging out here, we heard someone make a big horn sound of sorts.
音すごいね。
That person was then walking up to where we were, and we couldn't hold back our curiosity and asked him what special instrument he had with him.
これすごいね。
そんな見たことない？
いや見た目のものあるけど、ここそんな音出るのがさっき音聞こえて、こんなのって全然と思わなかった。もう一回音出してくれます？
いやみんながいいならいいけどさ。
全然。
ここってあんまり人それ邪魔って思わないと思いますけど。
いやわかんねえんだよ俺も。山に入るときに合図したり、自分がいる場所をみんなに聞かせたり。
ああなるほ
だから
ど。
鳴るときと鳴らないときあるんだよね。
すごい。
ここで良くなった。
わあ、ここから立っててまた全然違う感じします。
かっこいい。
So that was pretty cool. I asked him whether I may take his portrait, which he agreed to, but he asked me not to post it on the internet, hence the blur.
Quando o piano já não quer mais tocar e as teclas pretas não saem do lugar, quando o corno inglês ter que ir pro xadrez porque não tem mais onde ficar.
いいよいいよ。面白そう。
Quando o prelúdio nem começar e assim breve cansar de respirar, quando o trombone não quiser assoprar.
I like this shot. The composition has some fun things going on. I enjoy how the vending machine frames Hika and how the two trees add a sense of symmetry to the photo. By the way, if you like the color grading in my videos, I would just like to remind you that my Patreon exists. I recently uploaded a tutorial for color grading basic Rec 709 straight out of camera iPhone 11 footage. You can find lots of technical tutorials like that and Lightroom presets too on my Patreon. Have a look if you're interested. I'll leave a link in the description. This shot is quite rubbish in my opinion, but you know me, that's simply part of photography and I want to show you the good and the bad. The day was slowly coming to an end, and we had 2 more things on our itinerary. First, Hika needed to go to a pottery to pick up something that she had made, and then we were going to hunt for some cake, because this day was actually Hika's birthday. And so we thought it'd be nice to have a birthday cake to celebrate before parting ways. This hunt for cake turned out to be much harder than we had anticipated, and we ended up wandering around in random dark streets until we eventually found a tiny shop where we could buy some cake, but there was no seating. The person in the shop was very chatty, and I ended up getting a photograph. Unfortunately, he recently had a fight with a cat or so, he said, so he wasn't in his best shape with some scars around his lips. I hope he's been healing well. This photograph documents this particular time in his life, I suppose. Due to the lack of seating, we looked for a park to have our cake. We found something on the maps, but when we got there, it was not quite the pretty cake eating spot we had hoped for.
こうやってこれを机にして食べれる。お皿もついてるって言ってた。じゃらーん。お皿どれだろう。このロケーションはすげえな。To document this funny moment of enjoying a birthday cake in a dark and dusty park, I got this shot of Hika, which I think actually turned out really nice. However, just as we were on to our last bit, it started raining. Kyoto really didn't want us to have a good cake picnic, I suppose, so we ended up parting ways here because Hika caught a bus home while I needed to take the train back to the city centre to get to my accommodation.
The station's so close, but it's really pouring now.
I ended up running through the rain, got a little wet, but made it back safely to recharge for the next day. On this day, I was just going to be exploring some places by myself. The first place I was heading to is Kyoto's Botanical Garden, which Hika had recommended to me. I found a route to go there that also passes by a shrine, which I decided to include in my route.
Moon is watching shallow dreams. Night is rocking her to sleep. Wind whispers in the trees. Hidden secrets are hard to keep. Sunset in golden fields. Goddess warrior. Lost the battle and her dream.
So this is a rather big park that surrounds the shrine, and as I was having a good time just walking around, I spotted a gentleman with a little dog sitting on a bench, and I thought that could maybe make for a neat photograph. So I mustered up my courage and approached him.
はい、ちょっとほんの質問かもしれないんですが、私写真家なので、なんか2人がここ座ってるの素敵と思ったので、もしかして写真撮ってもよろしいですか？
We had a pretty long chat, and I ended up taking this photograph of him and the dog, which I think turned out pretty cool. I like it. After exploring the shrine for a bit, I was walking through some random streets to get to the botanical gardens. Mostly there wasn't really anything particularly interesting here until I spotted an unusual looking vehicle. I got this shot, and by coincidence, in this exact moment, the owner came out of the door. I was so focused on the car that I didn't notice at first, and only once I lowered my camera did I see him. I expressed my admiration for his vehicle, and he explained to me some of the backgrounds of this car, and it was quite interesting. I made it to the botanical gardens. It was much warmer inside and very humid, as was to be expected, I suppose, so I was struggling with a bit of condensation on the camera, hence the hazy look on some of these shots. After that, I had one more mission, the big one for the day. While researching, which simply means scrolling around on Google Maps looking for something interesting, I spotted a train line that I wasn't familiar with that appeared to go up north from Kyoto, just outside of the city, into the mountains. It looked really interesting, and there seemed to be a temple up there, so I decided to go there. The train ride was lovely, and I was of course having a great time. My train heart felt very fulfilled on this ride, and at the final stop, my fellow passengers and I got off the train and found ourselves in Kurama. Kurama appeared to be a small mountain village tucked away in this valley here, with a beautiful temple rising above it. Here in the village there were many pretty buildings, gates and decorations, but the main attraction appeared to lie ahead up the trail that leads up the mountain. It was a lovely little hike, and I couldn't believe how few people were here. There was basically nothing going on. I spent some time at the top just enjoying the view and looking at the pretty temple. I took 2 photographs just as the sun came out for a bit and made the lighting a bit more interesting, and with that, I just turned around and walked back down. It was very good to be back in the mountains. Again, after just yesterday. By the way, something that I think is important to emphasize, I do not think that by me showing you places like these, this temple will now too become an overcrowded hotspot. Firstly, I doubt that I will get anywhere near the amount of views to have that sort of impact. Besides, I assume it's mostly short-form content on TikTok and Instagram that cause a touristic stir. Secondly, my intention in this video is to show you a different side of Kyoto, because despite Kyoto being one of the most overrun places in Japan, when someone asks me where to visit when they come to Japan for the first time, I still say Kyoto, but I try to specify where in Kyoto in the hopes that I can contribute to spreading out the visitors. The concentration of the visitors is the issue, not the amount of them, at least in my observation. Thus, instead of disincentivizing visitors to come at all, I think raising awareness and pointing out alternatives is the way to go. I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to clarify that. And after seeing this place, I have to say Kurama is an incredible spot to visit when in Kyoto instead of the hotspots. At this point, the sun was setting and the night was approaching as I was back in town about to catch another train that will take me into the city centre. Underground, I took this shot, which I think turned out really cool. I bumped into this group of teenagers hanging out here just as the train was coming into the station. I thought that the train's motion could add something dynamic to a shot of the platform with the boys in the foreground, and I think that assessment was spot on. I find that the shot turned out pretty cool, but it was taken a little hastily and I think I should have tilted the camera down a bit. Unfortunately, I cut the group off at the bottom while adding too much of the ceiling to the composition. At last, almost back at my accommodation, I took this photo of the sky with the cables in the foreground and a bird flying high in the back. By the way, here too, to keep it real, I got this shot 3 times, and this is the best one I think. The other 2 are not horrible, but just worse in my opinion. I ended the day with a bowl of ramen, and with that, I'd say an absolutely splendid visit came to an end. It was really cool to re-explore Kyoto and see the quiet side of it. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I hope you enjoyed coming along and had a good time too. Before saying goodbye, I would like to say a massive thank you to the lovely people supporting me and my work on Patreon. Thank you so much to each one of you. If you're interested in Lightroom presets, tutorials and stuff like that, you can check out my page via the link in the description. Also, I have a print shop, in case that is of interest to you, also in the description. With that said, I hope to see you again soon. Until then, goodbye.